another episode of Pause the Punch. I'm here to discuss the big fight this weekend, highly anticipated, between Terence Crawford, who's a freeweight world champion, versus Kell Brook, former IBF world welterweight champion. This is a big fight for many reasons. I think one of them is Terence Crawford is in most people's top three, even the number one pound for pound boxer in the world. And Kell Brook, someone who's had a good career, taken a few losses, but he's coming to the latter part of his career now, and people want to see, one, if he's still got anything left in the locker, and two, how Terence Crawford is going to deal with a big welterweight like Kell. So let's just get into it. Terence is a special fighter, man. Terence is a great fighter. He's a switch hitter, so he can fight in the orthodox and southpaw stance. He's able to read his opponents well, and during fights he's able to adapt. So if something's not working, he's able to adapt those skills. But he does have vulnerabilities. He's been put down before by Benavidez. He's not the biggest of welterweight. He's just moved up from 140 to 147. But overall, he's a very, very competent boxer. Good repertoire of punches. Able to cut off the ring effectively. High IQ within the ring. Now, Kell Brook's a top fighter. He's a very good fighter. Well, I can say he was at one point anyway, when he went over to America. Stripped Sean Porter of his belt. Literally ripped it off the champion. And yeah, had a dominant performance out there. It was a very, very good fight. Came back to London, had a few fights, and was offered the Golovkin fight. Everyone needs to remember, when he fought Golovkin was the most feared at middleweight. He was knocking out everyone. People were avoiding him. And Kell Brook went up, took the fight. He didn't win. But he answered some questions. He answered some serious questions which we wanted to know. We wanted to see if Golovkin at the time could deal with someone who's very fast and able to move well in the ring. Someone like Kell as well, who picks his shots well. So he's very smart in terms of how he picks his shot, and he's very accurate. So yeah, he answered some questions. The only problem there, or the shortcoming for him, was he wasn't big enough to sort of hurt Golovkin. And even at the post-fight interview, Golovkin said he didn't really feel his punches. But yeah, after that, he had to go back down to 147 and defend his welterweight belt against Errol Spence. Now this time, Errol Spence was coming up. A lot of people knew that, yeah, he was a real killer, but we hadn't seen him really fight anyone at that point. Had a razor-close fight with Errol Spence, and I think it was the 10th or 11th round where Kell eventually took a knee. But you could tell he was tired. He just dropped from fighting at 160 to 147, which isn't good for any fighter anyway, because your body needs time to recover. Lost that fight. Took a bit of a time out after that, came back, had 2 or 3 fights, and now he's back in to fight Terence Crawford. A lot of people are dismissing Kell Brook. A lot of the experts are saying Crawford's going to win the fight easy. But for me, I don't think the fight's going to go like that. I think it's going to be razor close for at least the first 5 to 6 rounds anyway. What we've seen about Kell in the past is Kell needs a big fight to get him up, to really get him motivated. We can see now he's in shape. He's looking well. He's looking ready to fight. He looks like he's not just coming for a payday. He's literally coming to fight and rip the belt off of Crawford. But it's going to be no easy task at all. So in terms of how Kell Brook beats Crawford, I think he needs to fight him similar to how he fought Porter. So he needs to stick it on him from early. He needs to be precise as he is with his shots. He needs to be effective with those shots. And I think what's going to benefit him is the size difference. So he's a bigger welterweight, bigger than Crawford anyway. So I think we'll have to see how does Crawford deal with someone who's as big as Brook. And as I said before, Crawford has some vulnerabilities. He has been put down before. So it will be good to see what it's like when he gets hit on the chops by Kell Brook. Yeah, it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. If I was to predict, I would say that Terence Crawford will win it later on. So potentially a stoppage. But I'm edging closer to a points victory. The only thing I'm thinking is, has Kell got it in him to sort of fight 12 rounds against a fast-paced fighter like Crawford? And we need to remember as well, Kell is getting older now. Yes, they're both in their 30s, but he's been more inactive in comparison to Crawford. So big fight. My prediction is Bud Crawford, the P for P, is going to win late, or he's going to stop Brook. But I think Brook is going to answer some serious questions. He's going to give him a tough fight. And do you know what? If Brook loses in a late stoppage or on points, but he puts puts up a good performance, I don't think it's the end of the road for him. There's a lot of big fights available still. You've got the Spence rematch, we've got the fight with Garcia, we've got Crawford, and potentially a fight with Pacquiao. That'll be a big fight, big money fight for Brook as well. But yeah, tune in on Sunday to watch Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook. It's going to be a massive fight.